Yep. Oh, I probably also should not pick anything on the show.
We're live.
Hello, tube of you.
It's not a bad delay. It's about 5 or 10 seconds.
That's not awful.
Taylor, do you need a link?
I have a link.
Okay, cool.
Somebody chat me. Oh, we've got 85 subscribers now, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
iAccessibility has a lot of subscribers.
Yay! My chat extension is working. Okay, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, my speech chat works, and kind of, but it's not saying the message. It just says who it's from.
Techopolis,
Oh.
yep. Hey, Techopolis.
Oops.
And actually, my speech chat, for whatever reason, is really slow. It may have been overwritten by. Yeah, I think it was overwritten whenever yours came in. But
Oops.
I've got so many tabs open.
Turn on Do Not Disturb.
1 moment. Connected over iPhone. Image. Wi-Fi. Phone. 87. Silent mode. Theater mode. Walk. Do not
We will be
disturb.
getting
Daniel.
Switch button. Off.
Says
We will be
hi.
getting-
Actions available.
We'll be getting started momentarily.
Yep.
Off. Wi-Fi. Switch. Wi-Fi. Switch. Done. Done. Do on for on. Wi-Fi. Switch button. On. Actions available.
Oh, stop. I really wish that you could get like VoiceOver to stop changing its volume based on the Siri volume, although I kind of understand why that is.
All right. Yeah. At least on Mac, speech chat is really slow. Also, I'm kind of stupid, and I have this in Safari. So.
Oh, that's a problem. Well, my Daniel says hi. My extension's really fast.
That's awesome.
So anyways. Yeah. This extension is great.
All right. We're going to go, I think, today. If anybody would like to be on video, you may feel free. I'm going to have mine on.
Okay.
Anybody that's on the podcast. So if you want your face to be seen, it's up to you.
I don't know if mine's lined up or else I would. Because I just moved my computer. So I don't know if it's lined up.
I probably would, but frankly, I don't feel like holding my phone in one place for an hour.
Yeah.
I don't have a good way to prop it up.
Totally understand that.
Same. I don't feel like switching over to my computer. And then I have to like look presentable for an hour.
That's okay, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Her
We're going to
video
get...
will just be a memoji.
Some people do that. It's actually kind of interesting. I don't know. So, all right. Are we ready to get started?
Yep.
Yep.
I suppose.
And I have to think about it because we have two Laurens now. I'm like, I got to make sure I get the right name.
Right.
Luckily, you only have one of us on the show today.
Right.
That makes it easier.
Hey, if you call her Lauren Flishup or Lauren Benner, you're not living it down. Just saying.
Nope, you're not.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the iACast. All right, with me today, I have a few folks. We have a old but new face because she hasn't been here in a while, Lauren Bishop.
Hello.
We have Taylor Arndt.
Hello, everyone.
And for the moment, we have Jason Earls.
Hello, everyone.
I'll get to why I say in a moment, in a few minutes. But we want to talk about a little bit of the latest tech news, as we usually do. Actually, there's two things we can talk about. Because one of the things that's been in the news and I know a lot of blind people are upset about is the Flick Type app. At least the Apple Watch version is not going to be allowed in the store, or not going to be available in the store anymore. Even made the news all the way up to 9 to 5 Mac.
That's nuts.
I was kind of surprised that they had stuff about that on 9 to 5 Mac. I heard some people say that it would be only the Watch app. Some people said the whole app. So I don't know which is actually true. But at least the Apple Watch app is going away. One of the interesting things about the Watch app, though, is it did allow for a typing experience on the watch, and that would be kind of a shame to lose. The second piece of news that we have is Apple came out with two pieces of news about how iOS 15 is going to change the way you use your phone. And I personally don't have an issue with this. But for you guys on the podcast that don't know, this is in regard to what's called CSAM, C-S-A-M. It was already said before what that meant, but can anybody remember?
Child sexual
Abuse
material.
Yes, there we go. Or at least close enough. I think that's what it is, though. And this is basically if you upload your pictures to iCloud, or Google and Microsoft already do this. If you upload your pictures to Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and they are known to contain, if they can match a complete fingerprint of an image you have to known child nudity photos, then you can be, I don't know if it's reported or tracked or what is actually going to happen, but basically it's a way that they can track who is the bad apples out there, to kind of see who is circulating child pornography, who is starting this stuff. And Microsoft and Google have been doing this for a long time, and Apple is only doing this if they find it on device and when it gets uploaded to iCloud. They're actually scanning on device and not in iCloud. It's what Craig Federighi said in an interview with Joanna Stern. And I think that's really cool that it's all happening on device. It's not waiting, it scans whenever you go to upload it, but it does not do it in iCloud. They don't do it on their servers. So you're not really sending it to Apple for scanning. You're sending it to Apple because you chose to do so. And so, I feel like the way Apple's handling it is the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody else is putting a stake out there saying, we keep this stuff off our cloud. So Apple is as well. And I don't blame them for that.
No. We have some chat messages, Michael.
Yeah, we
I wasn't
do.
sure if you saw those. Do you want me to... what?
We have Payon in the audience.
Yep.
Already talking about food, just like on our Techopolis show.
But then he said, oh, awkward. Didn't realize what you guys were talking about. So.
That's funny. So welcome to the audience. And it's great that we have an audience.
Yep.
I know, this is really cool.
Mm-hmm. I need to get... I'm going to install that Chrome extension on my Mac because that thing is really cool.
That might be a good idea, Michael. And it's in the Techopolis stream somewhere, or else I'll send you the link. But it's in the Techopolis stream somewhere.
I could log into my Restream chat and get it there. But it's really cool, that Apple's handling this stuff this way. And now I feel like I understand why he says it's awkward.
Uh-huh. He didn't realize what we were talking about.
So basically, this is kind of big news, and because Apple has always been the ones to promote privacy. I was about to say piracy. Very similar words.
Nice, Michael.
And people see this as Apple kind of going back on their promise of privacy. So, it is a very interesting, thing that, that Apple is doing this, I think.
I do as well. And I think it's kind of also, probably pressure from people, right? Pressure from the other tech companies and, who knows? Like, I think it was, probably something they didn't plan on doing, but because of the pressure of others, I think that's kind of something started to happen. Yes, Payon, we do know who you are.
Yep.
So, awesome. Thanks for being here.
So, Lauren, what, you're going to college for, for law and things like that. What are your thoughts on this?
So, ironically, as a law student, this kind of goes back to, with regards to privacy and whatnot, it goes back to every time you agree to your terms and conditions. I don't think we really and truly know exactly what's going on with our information because I don't think anyone really actually scrolls through those terms and conditions until you accept to hit the button. So you're really not looking and delving into the actual material, and you may even be intimidated by the material. So I think, privacy is a really big issue in the tech community because so much of our information now is in the cloud. And, so much of our information can go out so easily and we can't get it back. But I think at the same time, we can have great benefits from a lack of privacy. And I think that the child sexual abuse material scanning is one out of so many that you actually could get from privacy. And granted, it is using artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence, as a blind user of, in-app description, I know that in artificial intelligence can say something is one thing when it's actually something completely different. But I really think it's a step in the right direction. And I'm hoping that it's going to start, really encouraging people to think about what they post and keep on their devices and how that can affect them.
Well, the good thing about this is that it's actually not using AI for, believe it or not, they're not using AI. They're using known, so images that they know are bad, are kept, I don't remember the acronym of the organization that distributes these to the companies, but known images are kept in a database, and they have what are called hashes, that are basically a digital fingerprint of these images, and they keep the hashes actually in a database in iOS on your device. And before people get ideas, no, you cannot go find the hashes and open them up and see the images. That's not how it works. It is basically if this image has this fingerprint in it, then we flag it, and they update when they update iOS. So it's not like, they're going to be sending new hashes to look out for every day on your device. They're going to be updating it with the database that's put into every disk image of iOS from, when they start up, when they update your devices. So, and I think that's even more secure because, a lot of people are like, well, what if I have my child in the bathtub and they do something cute and I want to keep it as a family picture? That's fine. That's totally fine. You can do that. And it will not even be flagged when it goes up to iCloud. It won't even be scanned. Believe it or not. Which I think is really great. I think Apple is really, leading the charge as far as, And then the question was asked, why are you just now doing this? And Craig Federighi actually answered, because we wanted to make sure we would do it right. And I think they did. But the other problem that happened was there was another announcement that we haven't even gotten to yet, that if a child receives or sends a picture that, this time it is using AI, if you send or receive a picture that may involve nudity, it will not tell the child, it will not keep the child from opening it, but it will say, this may contain graphic material. Do you want to open this? And if they say yes, it will say, we will have to let your parents know. And I think that's great.
That is awesome.
Yes.
I really think that is awesome. So, I think Apple did the right thing, but it's because both of those things dropped at the same time in the same announcement. People just freaked out. Mm-hmm. So, that's my thoughts on those things. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we move on to our main topic?
Sure. I think that Apple having this program, especially the text message thing where children will be warned about opening explicit photos and that their parents will be notified about their children opening explicit photos, is really a step in the right direction for child safety, because we have kids, as young as like 3 or 4 getting iPads, and even teenagers now, they want privacy, they want their own device. But I think that parents need to still be able to monitor those things. And in the past, if your child had their own iCloud account, you really didn't know what was going on the phone unless you took it and looked at it, which that can create all kinds of controversies in family relationships anyway. And a lot of really negative consequences have resulted from children and teens being able to have free access to the internet. And I think if Apple's willing to step up and say, okay, why don't we have a setting in the family iCloud accounts where if a child views an explicit photo, their parents get notified. That way the parents can handle it and educate their child, on why we don't share these types of photos. And they're also going to get flagged. Oh, okay, my child is now maybe talking with someone suspicious that they really shouldn't be. So I think that's going to really decrease the amount of sexual assaults and things that occur over the internet.
Agreed. So, I think that we've, talked about this quite a bit. So I want to move on to our main topic for today. And that is a very sad topic. One of our number has achieved one of his lifelong goals and has gotten a new job. We're not going to say where, but because of that, he will not be able to be with us on the podcast anymore. So I promised him that he will get roasted on today's show. And so basically our topic is we're going to talk about some of the best, worst, and embarrassing moments of Jason Earls on the iACast. And this may not last forever. We're hoping Jason comes back at some point, but we're very happy for his accomplishment. So it's really awesome. And Jason, you've been on this show since 2017 or 2016.
I think 2016. So 5 years of iACast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it was episode 16? 17?
Something like that, 15 or 16.
Yeah. And we're on episode 166 now. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, we've had a lot of outtakes. We've had a lot.
Yeah.
We you know, the cool thing is that Jason's gonna still be able to edit the shows and talk about the ridiculous things we say, or you know, talk about our outtakes and all that. But yeah, uh, and who, you know, we're going to have to find another person to be our regular, because you know, you're irreplaceable. Like, your personality is just, you know, we had to develop a meme called "Shut Up, Jason." After all, you know, that is a because it's always been, you know, Jason always has a lot to say about the different topics we talk about, because, and you know, you always have very good, insightful information, especially about technology, because you read more articles than most of us do.
Combined.
Combined, yes. Although I probably, and Taylor, you probably do too, watch more YouTube.
Oh yeah, and we have some YouTube chats too.
Well, we have one or two, but it hasn't been related to the topic, so we'll leave those there.
Oh, fine. Call them out. You guys aren't saying anything noteworthy.
Well, we had one. We had a person say hello.
Yep.
We don't, you know, have to.
No, but I just, you know, I tried to tie it in there.
Yeah, but we appreciate everybody being out there in chat. We do. And if you have a memory of Jason, share it with us. And
Or don't.
Or let's you know, it's too bad Jason doesn't have video on, because to see him turn red with embarrassment or shame or anything else would be hilarious. We do have a chat. Let's see.
Oh no, about tacos? Oh no. Oh.
Promise I had nothing to do with tacos.
No, that
No.
was not a Jason started phenomenon.
No,
Once.
that was not.
Although
Although
I helped it along.
you did help it
You
along.
did help it along, so technically you contributed.
Yes.
I contributed, but I didn't start it.
You'll have to go to the guy that mentioned it in chat was the one who started it. Mr. Payon, Michael Babcock, of the DM show of yourownpay.com, I believe, right?
Yeah, yourownpay.com/DM.
Yep. So yeah, shout out to that podcast. They're awesome. But you know, I think some of the and I'm just gonna. This is not a typical episode, so if you've listened to any of our live streams on iACast or here, you've heard Jason outtakes. You've definitely heard Jason outtakes. We've had times where he's been talking and right in the middle of a speech, belches or burps.
Hey, my favorite one was with that microphone on my CADs. And I'm like trying to play it off, and you're like, "Hey, Jason," and I was like, "Yes," and you're like, "Did you just have Pepsi or something like that?" I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, and your mute not working as well
Yeah.
as you thought it did.
Although, speaking of headphones, I have to say I'm doing something very interesting. So last episode, I picked the AirPods Max. So I actually decided that for this episode, so people could hear what they sounded like over Bluetooth, I would actually be on my AirPods Max right now. So this is the AirPods Max over Bluetooth on Zoom connected to my iPhone.
Yep. And that was another great moment. I think it was episode 77. Am I mistaken, Jason? Or are you still trying to forget that ever happened?
I'm still trying to forget that when it was 78.
78? Okay. So explain to the audience why you're trying to forget that ever happened.
We were doing an episode, we were talking about headphones, and we were talking about our favorite headphones, and I was using the Ambios. And I was performing a well-known blindism in our community, and did not realize it. And I thought I had muted when I wasn't talking because I think I was also doing something else. I was looking for something, and because I was in binaural, I didn't want to distract anybody. Turns out I was not muted,
Oh, wonderful.
and it's there in the recording, and I'm never listening to that episode ever again.
I thought for whatever reason it wasn't as high quality either, or something else was going on.
Oh, I was also really loud, apparently, for some reason. I was really distorted. I don't know if it was like my something to do with my Teen Talk level because we'd recorded it on Teen Talk at the time. But yeah, it was not very good.
Let's see. What else? What are some other good moments?
My Jason trains.
Oh yes. That's part of the reason why we came up with "Shut Up, Jason." You said,
Yes.
actually, you were the one who came up with "Shut Up, Jason." You said, if I'm on the podcast and I'm just going and going and going and talking about something, and we run too long, just say, "Shut up, Jason."
Oh yeah, I guess that was me. I thought it was Leah at first.
No, that was you. That was you. You said that.
Yeah, I believe it though. That does sound like something I would come up with. But I really have to say though, like, in all seriousness, I mean, the iACast for me has been great. I've been on podcasts before, but nothing nearly as regular as the iACast. And honestly, I feel like the iACast has really given me some things that I didn't know I didn't have. I noticed that when I was on the show, after a few episodes, when I was doing, job interviews and stuff, I became a much better, or at least a much more confident sounding speaker. And I started speaking like this. Everybody talks about how I have this podcast inflection. And I guess it's true. And I really tried to start thinking about what I was saying and try to lessen my filler words. And sometimes I do it well, sometimes I don't. But I really appreciate being on the iACast for that reason, because it really makes you think, especially when you have to go back and edit yourself.
Like that one, like that one demo cast where we had to tell you that you had a certain accent through the whole thing.
Yes.
Sure, that was fun to edit.
I don't know if we published that or did you redo it? I don't remember.
I honestly don't remember either, but I believe it was on Seeing AI.
Yeah,
I think I was demoing the either the whole app or I was demoing the image. What do they call it? No, not the document. The mode that allows you to explore an image and it'll tell you about objects as you drag your finger around the screen.
I don't
Whatever
remember
that
what
mode is known as, I think is what we were doing one on.
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah. But I found it to be a really fascinating feature of Seeing AI. So.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of people come through in and out of this podcast, but Jason has been there the longest, and it will be weird. Like I said, finding shoes that filling those shoes, and that Jason, I will say, you are irreplaceable. There's nobody that will be able to be on the show with the personality that you have, and really have the knowledge that you've brought. So we're glad and we're sad.
So we're sglad is what I'm hearing.
But
we're sad glad.
But Lauren, you've been here a long time. So what memories do you have of Jason that are the fondest and funniest?
That bad, huh?
You're not that bad. I didn't mute. I was.
No, you were just quiet for so long. I was like, wow, it must be bad.
I think the my most fond memories are the Pepsi burps. I really should have watched some outtake shows as a refresher before coming onto this show. But nope, those are like true Jason right there. Drinking a Pepsi during the podcast and needing a belch.
There certainly have been a lot of those.
You know, we haven't had enough outtakes to do an outtake show recently, and there are some good ones. We really need to. I'm going to combine those and make some make an outtake show because they really are some good ones that haven't been out, that haven't been put out, and you know, we're getting close. You know, we're not getting close, but by the time we have the holidays, we will have enough material to come up with an outtake show for the last 2 years. And you know, podcasts have really changed. A lot of podcasts in this space are changing and looking at their formats, and like kind of we have, and it's not the same. You know, some podcasts from the blindness community that I've seen have really slowed down, or they're changing people, or they're doing this and that. And I kind of feel like podcasts are you know, kind of losing their momentum as far as their popularity, because there's so many out there. It's become kind of like the Android marketplace, so fragmented.
Instead of, well, it's kind of like that song, right? It's kind of like that song, you know, video killed the radio star, YouTube's killing the podcasting star.
You know, that's a good point. That's really a good point, because, you know, like I will be later today, I'm going to be doing some game streaming on the Techopolis channel. And I could just press a few buttons and go live with my setup. And, like, you know, we're streaming live on YouTube right now. But, like, with the control I have with Streamlabs, just to press a few buttons and go live and go, you know, to multiple services, it's so easy. And, you know, it's podcasting is kind of a pain these days. You still have to have multiple devices. You have to, you know, get your people in Zoom. You have, or if, you know, some people want actual multi-track recordings. And, you know, the standard is for today in sighted society, you just get a bunch of people on Discord, you fire up YouTube, and you turn on system audio, you're good.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of sad because, you know, we had talked about well, and speaking of YouTube, as I get sidetracked live on the show, you know, you guys listening to the YouTube stream are going to be hearing you guys listening to the episode are going to be hearing everything that's going on in the YouTube stream, because other than chopping off the beginning of the stream where we aren't actually doing the show, we've decided not to edit this. So it's going to be posted as is. But getting back to what I was saying, if I can remember what I was, oh yes, Discord. So see, this is the stuff that gets edited out, right? But Discord, you know, we had talked about using Discord stages to do a show, and you know, we haven't done that yet. But it's an interesting idea. I know plenty of people have used Clubhouse rooms to do podcasts. So
yeah, and you know, it's interesting, you know, where things are going to go in podcasting, and apparently I nearly gave Payon out there a heart attack because he said, "Don't scare a man like that," was saying it's almost close to the holidays.
Are you afraid of all that shopping you have to do, Payon?
Hey, that's why we have Amazon these days, y'all.
And yeah, I was gonna say.
And speaking of Amazon, I had a really annoying experience yesterday. I was looking to get some earpod covers, because they've apparently updated them since the last ones I had. And the Amazon app was terrible. And one of the first things I normally check for is whether screen recognition. And for those of you who don't know, that's a voiceover feature that Apple developed in iOS 14 that allows voiceover to kind of perform live OCR And it, the first thing I tend to do is check and make sure that that's off, because when apps are accessible, sometimes that feature can create issues, and I forgot to do it. And I just like, why, what is wrong with the Amazon app? And it turns out it was on. And I felt so unsmart. It was kind of a Jason thing.
Yeah, Jason moment. But I think that and the interesting thing is there's so many apps now. There's Auphonic to help with post production. There's if they'd make it more accessible, there's apps like Descript.
Oh, yeah, Descript.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
they
if they
have
make the edits a little bit non-choppier.
but for in a pinch, people can use that.
Right.
And it's like I told somebody today. It's not about not always necessarily about the audio quality. It's sometimes it's the content. You can spend a lot. There's a lot of times where a 1 hour show takes 5 to 10 hours to edit. It doesn't need to be that way. You don't need to, if you're going to give a good show, you don't need to have everybody send in their own tracks from Zoom or however they recorded it. You don't need to do all that. There are very successful podcasts like This Week in Tech, like the iMore show. Sometimes a lot of them just have Skype.
Yeah.
And I remember Aaliyah was listening to what was that podcast back when Skype was above 16K a few years back. What was it? It was a Harry Potter show. The Weird Sisters, I believe it was called,
yes.
And they were totally using Skype, and you could hear like the breakups and everything, but it was still a good show.
Yeah.
And honestly, we use Zoom. I mean, we use Zoom's recording feature. We don't necessarily use multi-tracks because lining them up is kind of a pain a lot of the time when they aren't the same length. And so we use that. We use Auphonic, and I use Audacity. And using Audacity, if I end up using the Apple Noise Gate on the show, that's what really takes the longest. But a lot of the times, because Auphonic is as nice as it is, I don't have to do that. There are some edits I may choose to make after the fact, but tools like Auphonic really do speed things up.
Right. And it's interesting, where things are going, and I feel like as podcasters and as content creators, we have to move with it. And I don't feel like, I think the reason why there's a decline in podcast quality and content in the blind community is they want to just continue to do the same thing they've done for 15 years. And so that's why we try to keep moving with that, but this is off topic a bit. Let's shift back to Jason. How dare you leave us, Jason? How dare you? It's I want our outtake count has gone way down. We haven't had nearly as many. It might go near 0 now.
Probably, or unless my neighbors decide they want to be chaotic next year, maybe it won't. Who knows?
Hey, you could offer them money. Excuse me, neighbors. If I pay you money, would you mind, helping me create some outtake material for my show? Thank you.
I don't think she has to pay the money for that. I think they're just usually, all around.
No, but next weekend I'm gonna have new neighbors because it's move-in weekend at the apartment complex next weekend. So who knows who I'm gonna get next weekend?
So yeah. So Jason, you know what? I don't think we've really asked what have been your favorite moments, and we've talked about the worst, but what have been your favorite moments? Like, what have you really enjoyed on the podcast?
One of the things I really enjoyed on the podcast is our unboxing shows. I really enjoy those. I really enjoy, because we record them in binaural, getting to hear as closely as possible what the product would sound like to me. Um, and I also have to say, I don't think we have ever been able to top Aaliyah's Braille Sense. That was funny.
Yes, it was, and I
that
lost it.
that has probably got to be one of my favorite things, because you laughed so hard. And,
I really did. And those are on
Oh, my
Patreon, by the way.
goodness.
Those are all
Yes.
on Patreon. If you want to hear all the up to date outtakes, head to patreon.com/iACast and become a patron. They are funny. I'm just saying.
They are. How many people have told us that they've not really been able to listen to them in certain situations because they were laughing so
Oh
hard?
yeah. Oh yeah. When we do
Yeah.
conferences, and we would do some get-togethers at the parties, we'd play our outtake shows, and those were a lot of fun. But like, what are the highlights of like the episodes that you really enjoyed doing the most? Like, just not even outtakes quality. Like, what did you really enjoy? Like, what topics and stuff?
I really enjoyed doing the episodes, where we're talking about, tech news I can relate to. I mean, sometimes we'll talk about some things and get onto some camera topics that I can't relate to, just because I don't have experience with it. And that's not to say it's bad, but I really enjoy, like when we were talking about, we did an episode on, we did that one episode on Windows 10, and we left this in the show because it was great. But when I was talking about Spotlight and the differences between that and Windows Search and Siri activated, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And she goes, "I'm always serious."
Oh yeah,
That was also a pretty good
that was
moment
great.
too. And I really enjoy, like, on the shows, when something is said and the other person is taking it out of context, but we're trying to be good. We're trying not to let it become an outtake, and you can just hear it in somebody's voice. Somebody points it out, and then the explosion of laughter happens, and we're done.
Oh yes.
That is also one of my favorite parts of doing the podcast. And I love our humor. I love, that, I like to think that everybody can tell, listening to our show, especially since we've relaxed what we're going to allow on the show over the past few episodes now. Actually, it's been a while, but I like to think that people can hear how well we get along, because I definitely enjoy that camaraderie in podcasts as a listener, and also having it as a podcast presenter. It's nice. I can't imagine being on a show, what it would be like to be on a show if I didn't get along with all of you guys as well as I do, and we couldn't cut up and we couldn't laugh, and
Right. And it's just a relaxed environment where we convey information, but also we're not too, serious.
Except for Siri. She's always serious, apparently.
Yep. So, I have to say, it will be, I think we're coming close to our time, but it's going to be different. And, the good thing is Jason will still be behind the scenes. So we're not getting rid of him. Don't worry. He's stuck with us. He just will not be on the shows. But, he will be in different capacities around. I think one place that we're really going to miss you is, on the Unbox Cast and some of the others. That will be, it will be different, because one of the things that Jason has always provided is a very knowledgeable insight into what we're talking about. So it will be very, very different. And Lauren, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts on all this stuff?
I'm
I
not
think
going to
it's
talk over you. It's fine.
very exciting that Jason gets to do, his lifelong dream. He's worked so hard for it, and we're all very happy and we're sad to see him be off the podcast. But, we're happy that we still get to keep him around because, he's always keeping us on our toes and injecting humor where it needs to be injected.
Michael,
hear.
I think you wrote a great script for her, Lauren. I know you didn't mean any of it, but you read it very well. No, I'm kidding.
Gee, thanks, Jason. Thanks a lot, man.
No. You should give him one last on air. Shut up, Jason.
Shut up, Jason.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
And with that, I think we're going to move to the last part of this. And if you guys have any picks today, it'll be time for that. And I think I have a pick. So, Jason, since you're the man in the spotlight, do you want to give your contact info where people can find you online to talk with you about tech or anything?
Doing my contact info one last time. Well, I do have one thing though that I feel I must say before I do this, and that is that I appreciate every listener to the show. You guys are amazing. We do this because of you, or we continue to do this because of you. And I also appreciate, Michael, you allowing me to be a part of the show. And I appreciate everything that I have learned from the show, learning on the shows, and everything that the podcast has given me. And it has been an amazing journey, one that I hope can continue. And it's been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. And shutting up now, sir. But in all seriousness, you can find me producing content for iAccessibility. You can email me at jason@iAccessibility.net. You can find me on Twitter at JDE91. That is Juliet Delta Echo 91. And if you see me on Clubhouse, admittedly, I'm there very rarely, please feel free to say hi.
Okay. And Lauren, what about you? Do you have a pick, and what's your contact info?
You know what? I think my pick would be my Q-Braille XL Braille display. That thing is amazing. And I can be found on Clubhouse. If you see me there, please feel free to say hi. And you can send me an email at lauren@iaccessibility.net.
Okay. Taylor, what's your pick, and where can people find you online?
Well, my pick is my new apartment. So I just moved last weekend, y'all. So as you can hear, there's probably no refrigerator noise, which is awesome. So when Jason has to edit these podcasts, he won't hear that refrigerator noise. And if you want to hear that refrigerator noise, just go to a previous episode. I'm sure you will hear it. But basically, I am in my new office. So I have a 2-bedroom apartment. Yes, I know. 2-bedroom apartment all by myself. One for me and one for my office, where I will run my company. So, my pick is my apartment. It's really awesome. And it might even be bigger than Michael's. Okay, so with that out of the way, people can find me online all over the web. You can email me, taylor@iaccessibility.net. You can find me on Facebook, Taylor Arndt, or, more importantly, go to Taylor's Tech Talks. If you want to hear me produce more content, Taylor's Tech Talks is where I produce my own show, and we also have a Techopolis Live with Michael and I every Wednesday at 7 Eastern on YouTube on Techopolis. And you can also find me on Clubhouse as well, and Twitter, Taylor_Arndt22 or Tay's Tech Talks. And yeah, those are some places where you can find me. Obviously, Clubhouse as well, I'm on there. So yeah, those are places where you can find me. But if you could just search for me, and I'm sure you'll be able to find me somewhere all over the web. So, anyways, yeah.
All right. My pick for this week is a game that brings a lot of satisfaction, and I say that as a pun, because the game is called Satisfactory, and it is a game similar to Minecraft, although not with an infinite world. Apparently, I found the edge of the world the other day and fell off. That was fun. And in this game, you are tasked with building a factory. And you start with nothing. You're dropped on a planet. Really cool music and animations if you want. I stream that to the Techopolis YouTube channel and Mike Doey's on Twitch. And I have videos showing the beginning of the game and playing that as an accessible, with accessibility, with magnifier or the lack thereof, and my phone and UI scaling. It's kind of an ordeal, but I make it work, and I'm through a good chunk of the game. And so you can watch me play that. I've really been enjoying it. I love all the technology and the motors and all. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. So I've been playing that, so check that out. As for where you could find me online, you could find me on the Techopolis YouTube channel. You could find me on Clubhouse, Michael Doey's. You could find me on Facebook. On Twitter, I'm Mike Doey's, and I'm all over the web. And you can also find my new company, Techopolis, at techopolisos.com. And on YouTube, you can go to techopolisos.com/YouTube, and that will bring you right there. And if we don't have one, I'm going to make a iAccessibility.net/YouTube. So that will be a thing. So, subscribe to all of those and like our videos and all that stuff. And we hope to see you around. So, like I said, we won't be, losing Jason, but he will not be on any podcast. So, I just want us all on the show today to, say our goodbyes to Jason from the podcast. So, that's going to do it for this episode. Goodbye, Jason. It's been awesome having you on here.
It's been an
Bye, Jason.
amazing journey.
Yep. Bye, Jason.
Bye, everyone.
All right. That'll do it, guys. See you next time.
See, that's what I really should have said. My shutting up now, sir.